Listen here, girl. I know you think it's a game, but it is absolutely not. Okay, this is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right. It's damn near all gone, girl, and that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this body, this transformation, get into it, okay? And I'm done working out now, so that's why we're moving on to the protein shake. Oh yes, it's already in there, girl. It's already made right here. This is the mixture of the banana pudding, the chocolate cake, and the buttercream cupcake. And you really want to be fancy, you can go ahead and add that blueberry muffin if that's what you want to do, girl. But for me, it's these three right here, okay? You put that with some almond milk, you mix it all up in honey, okay? Your muscles have gained life, new energy, agility. Get into it, okay? Just Move Supplements. Thank you very much. Hold up, Chief. Okay, don't forget about that TLC NutriBurst to get that multivitamin probably, because we all need a little extra. And child, if you want that sea moss that go down smooth, don't come up rough, okay? Get into the TLC Nautica sea moss. Yes, get that from me. And child, if your stomach hurt and you need to move some things around so you can be free, okay, go ahead and get that ISO down below in the description box. Get it all from me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl BondyBlue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
What's up, people? What's up? Okay, happy Sunday, everybody. You know, we are back for Weekends on Own. Okay, hi. Hi. All right. So let me tell you what's going on, Toots. Let me tell you what's going on. Okay, so you guys know I come to you guys with the Weekends on Own, and normally there is a Love and Marriage Huntsville video that is done exclusively for members and Patreons. Okay, because that did not happen this week. They were trying to retell us a story that we've been here for the entire time, girl. So we're going to come together this evening, like later, maybe like around 5. Yeah, maybe like around 5. After I finish this live, give me a minute. 5, I'm going to come back on with my members and my Patreons, and we're going to watch the first episode of The Game on Paramount Plus. Okay, watch along. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have it up on screen. I'm not going to play with them people like that. But I definitely, you know, I'm going to definitely give y'all a little something extra. So y'all come back through, look for a link around that time, okay? So let's go ahead and get into what happened on this episode of Family or Fiance. You guys, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all made me think that this was a little bit more debaucherous than it really was, okay? So we got Lacey and Vidal, okay? So they met out, okay? They eyes saw each other from across the room. Ooh. And they're an attractive young couple. Like, I was actually looking at them like, okay, this is cute. I'm here for this. Like, he's nice looking, she's nice looking. Let's get together. Yeah. Why don't you and I combine? Like that. It was a vibe, you know, as far as the aesthetic, right? But she friend zoned him for 2 years after she first met him, until one drunken night in Miami, where she decided to call him and see how life had been treating him. And ever since then, it's been on and popping. Now she wants a huge, extravagant wedding. And she's like, my dad can't tell me no. And we love to hear it. We love to hear that the regular, schmegular black girls be Hillary Banks of the world, okay? Like, we want you to be taken care of. We want you to feel like I need for my husband to be able to provide to some level what I'm leaving my parental home for. That's how this is supposed to be. I just want to say that because I feel like people are going to find something wrong with this. But personally, I feel like this is exactly how it's supposed to be. She's supposed to feel like that. She is supposed to feel like whoever she is getting with is going to, you know, give her a lifestyle at some point that is equal to or better what she is leaving to be with them for. Like, I am tired of the idea that women, especially young black women, are supposed to lower their standards because they had a daddy that cared about them and loved them, and you is out here don't know what y'all doing. Like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And they actually really made it seem as if Lacey was like a princess whose parents do everything for her. I mean, they presented her like she didn't have a fucking job. When the truth of the matter is, like, she's a college graduate. She works. She works very hard for everything she has. She actually doesn't call her parents very often asking them for anything. She takes care of herself. Her parents feel that she is deserving of what they give her. And I'm just kind of like, sounds like my life. Like, I'm just saying, I've never really had to ask that often for anything from my parents, because first of all, I take care of myself. Second of all, anything that they give me, my mom, whatever would give me, because, my dad died when I was 19. So more of this has been, my mom, but it would always be what she offers. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, the goal is to be able to take care of her if necessary in the future. So I just personally feel like this is what it's supposed to be like. Like, her parents are supposed to, like, provide her with a really great life, and she's supposed to look at the man that she is leaving and cleaving for. She is supposed to look at him as if he can fill those same shoes, and maybe not immediately because they are young, but at some point. And I feel like there was a misunderstanding of what we were looking at here on both parts, because he made her out to seem like something she wasn't. And I think he was also disingenuous in a way that made us not be really clear on who he was. But once we really got to the bottom of it, they're both coming from two-parent households. They both seemingly are like, middle class, a little bit higher, but probably like middle class Black households. Okay, so these two people coming from two-parent households. He had a daddy. He's not a bum. He knows how to take care of himself. He knows how to work. He's a hard worker. But a lot of the times, young women seem to have a little bit more focus and understanding of what they want to do. And if you come from having a really nice lifestyle as a young Black woman, you're also being groomed to be able to supply that for yourself. You're not just being groomed to find a man who can supply that for you. But most of the time, young Black girls are out here getting that bank by themselves first. Okay? So I think that once all of that became clear to everybody, we realized the relationship wasn't as off kilter as we thought, because they really were worried that she was high maintenance. They were really worried that she was going to expect him to be able to provide for her what her father does. And her father has been working wherever he's been working for a long time, probably put in a lot of work and, a lot of the years add up. You know what I mean? But the way he expressed his timeline, first of all, she was talking about having children 6 months to a year after they get married. When he talks to her parents about this timeline, it's all of a sudden 4 years after they get married, which honestly, it should be 4 years after they get married to make sure that the marriage is solidified, depending on how old you are, because, biological clocks and shit. But ultimately, I really do feel like they should give themselves more time to be a couple and to, like, get solidified in the relationship and grow more as people. There doesn't need to be a rush to add more pressure to the relationship, because that's what children do. Like, me and Lyric are about to be 5 years, and I'm kind of, sort of, okay? Kind of, sort of, because the stories that you people tell make me feel like I don't want any kids. At least not right now. Child, the way y'all talk about these kids, the way y'all be like, take them. I don't want them. They work on my nerves, but I love them though. It's like, yeah, I could wait. I could totally wait. Like, I could wait on it. I'm just saying. But moving on from there, he's banking on his investments paying for their future, which is smart. But at the same time, I was kind of zoning out because it was kind of boring to me. Lacey's dad says that he wants to be clear on the fact that Lacey doesn't really ask him for money like that. and that he just wants somebody that is going to take care of his daughter. That's what he's supposed to want. Okay. Vidal feels like he's competing to be like Lacey's father, and everybody just wants him to be his own man. It's not that we want you to compete, but we do want you to be able to uphold a standard that we have already set for our child. And that is what it is. And that is how it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. Okay. Like, they are, first of all, though, they're having unprotected sex, in an attempt to have this child, even though it seems as if they do not have everything in place currently, which did seem irresponsible to me. I think they're both trying to create codependency so that the other person doesn't leave them. Like, let's hurry up and have a baby so that you won't leave. Like, it almost feels like that on the slick. Like, what is the fucking rush? But ultimately what we find out is that Vidal isn't being honest about who he is. He's not being honest about what he and Lacey have talked about as far as what they want to do with kids. And it's all because he got scared. Her parents are intimidating. Her mother has this look on her face the whole time, like she's confused and something stinks and she doesn't know what's going on. The look is like this the entire time. Of course, that young man doesn't know what the fuck to say. He feels like breathing is doing something wrong. You people are a tad bit intimidating, okay? And so he will say what he feels they want to hear in the moment versus being honest. And you create more of an issue when you lie like that. So I do love the fact that they were able to call him out on that, because I feel like that's a huge character flaw that a lot of people have, being disingenuous about how they feel. Like, and I also feel like a lot of men do that. Child, I saw something recently online. They posted about how men really do lie about how they feel in relationships. And then after the fact, they act like the woman, misconstrued shit the entire time and she lost her damn mind. No, nigga, you was making her feel like the relationship was more than what it really was because you wanted to get what you could get from her. And you knew she would not give all of that to you if you were upfront. Like, that's what it really be. You know what I'm saying? So that's not their situation, but there is an overall lack of honesty when it comes to how people are feeling in relationships. And that shit is scary. That shit is scary. Lacey has her whole dad's face. She looks just like her dad. You think so? I think she looks just like her mom. But either way, Lacey understands through talking to Tracy that she needs to leave and cleave. So she has to tell her mom, hey, mom, I understand that I'm your daughter, but there needs to be a transition. And it's so funny because I feel like that transition happened to me when my dad died. I don't understand like what it's like for people when they don't have a parent that dies. But at an early age, but this separating from what you are as a child to your parents versus being an adult that is a child to your parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like how I related to my mother changed after my father died because I had to look at her as a woman on her own and separate from myself versus looking at her as a part of the unit that we were in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was me, my mom, and my dad. Like, that was our unit. Okay. So when my dad died, it kind of broke that up a bit, and it made me have to be more independent than I already was. And I was already an independent child. I was already, able to be out here and take care of myself in a way. So, at a very young age. So that separation having to happen and our relationship having to shift makes me feel like this is the conversation she had to have with her mom because their relationship has to shift. And I feel like every young adult has to go through a time when they realize their relationship to their parent has to change. The dependency has to change. You have to create somewhat of a separation so that you can stand on your own. And then you form a relationship that is more so of a friendship with your parents versus a codependency that means they will always be there for you as a crutch. And I feel like they were making it seem like Lacey's parents were there for her as a crutch. And it wasn't that exactly, but her mother's want for her to take more time is to me a real a real thing to want for your daughter. Like, I'm not mad at the mom. I'm not, but she needed to relinquish control and she needed to let the relationship shift. And I feel like she may not have necessarily been ready to do that. And this is forcing that. So that's why she was so resistant to giving Vidal a chance, because it means that the relationship now has to shift. And I feel that it's almost like a death in some ways. Like, and I think that's why it happened when my dad died, because in a way, it's the death of what the relationship was and a newness to what it has to be in the future for you to be a dependent adult. You know what I'm saying? Independent adult. I'm sorry, an independent adult. So yeah, um, when she sat down and talked to her mom, and she was like emotional and crying because she was frustrated with her mom for not seeing what she sees in Vidal. And her mom went to like comfort her. It made me feel like, okay, her mom is going to kind of switch up a bit because she doesn't want to put her daughter through any unnecessary pain. But I feel like her fears about Vidal were real. Like her feelings about him not being genuine were real. She had an absolute 100% real reason to have all of the fears that she had and to express them, but she also needed to showcase that she could see the positives about Vidal so that her daughter would feel supported. And she needed to see that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important a lot of times for us to realize that you don't have to agree with your children's choices, but as long as they are not really hurting themselves, you need to find a way to balance out how you feel. So yes, I may not like this person that you're with exactly, but at the same time, you're an adult and I have to allow you to have your own relationships. And I also have to trust that I've raised you to be independent in your relationships and trust your own feelings and go through what those feelings are, because that's life. So as a parent, I have to support you and be there for you and listen to you when when you need me. But I also need to be able to back away from your situation and not make it my own. And that can be hard for parents as well. So I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked about, because I think that a lot of people in real life do not understand that a shift has to happen. It has to. When your child becomes an adult, a shift has to happen. And a lot of times, y'all know what I see a lot of? I see a lot of these posts shaming Black parents for kicking their kids out at 18. And I feel like y'all act like every Black family is doing that to their kids. And that is so not the fucking case. There are so many Black people that let their children stay in there, especially middle class, upper class, comfortable living Black people, allow their children the space to figure their shit out. A lot of the times they probably just ask that they have a job or that they're in school. That was always the understanding. And in most middle class Black households, that as long as you are being responsible in some way and showcasing that you are trying to become an independent adult, I will help you in whatever way you need me to help you. And if that means you're living with me while you're in college or working and giving me a little money here and there for the bills, it teaches responsibility, because that's what you're going to have to do when you become an adult anyway. And I feel like a lot of parents push their kids out because if you're still in a house, it's hard for that shift to happen. So pushing you out helps to break it. Like, just let it break and you figure it out. I'm here, but I ain't here, And it helps kids to find their own footing sometimes. So I don't feel like it's always a bad thing, but I definitely don't think that most people are like, all right, nigga, it's midnight on 18th birthday, get the fuck out. Like, nobody's doing that. And I don't like the way they're always putting that out there, like that's what Black people are doing to their kids and shit, because that's like not the case. But I think a lot of Black people do that so that their children can be out there on their own, because otherwise you wouldn't know how to really create that separation that needs to happen in order for your kids to become an adult. If they're living in a house with you, sometimes it's harder to do that. So anyway, y'all, moving on from there, Vidal and Lacey talk, and he admits that he doesn't have all the answers. Okay, I'm sorry, Vidal and Lacey's dad talk, and he admits that he is a hard worker. He doesn't have all the answers, but he does want to have a real relationship with Lacey's dad. And I love the connection that they formed because Lacey's dad really wanted to just see a real man talking to him like a real young man. And I'm not mad at him for that because Tracy pointed out that you're being disingenuous and they can pick up on that. They can feel that, especially if they don't know you. They can feel that you're not being 100% yourself because you're trying to showcase, or control. You're trying to control how they see you. Y'all, when she was talking about people with the word vomit, like talking really fast and saying a lot of things all at once to control how people see them, it made me think of Molly Mall and how whenever he would talk to people, it would become, yeah, but da 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 da, and he just running his mouth, talking fast. It's just like word vomit. And it's because he is trying to control how you see him. And that was the same thing that Vidal was doing. But in his conversation with Lacey's dad, he actually was able to be honest and show that he does want like a father-son relationship with him. It's just scary. It's scary. Okay, yes, a dissertation, absolutely. Yes, Tracy did a really good job this episode. Okay, so once they sit down and everybody talks about the blessing, everybody gave their blessing in a real way, except for Lacey's mom, who felt like in some way she still needed to see proof in said pudding. She was going to give her blessing, but she's hoping that her daughter will trust her instincts. And if something doesn't feel right, then she will get out of the situation. And when she put that on the back end of it, it then turned it sour. And I was like, yeah, she's having a hard time detaching. And I think the fact that she did point out that she could see how much Vidal loved Lacey, that was the moment that we needed to hold on to, because eventually she will just allow for that to take over the more she gets to know him. But she's always going to be difficult because something tells me that that's just this lady's personality to be a little difficult. Okay. But yes, y'all, that was basically everything that went down on Family or Fiance. Yes. Right. It was like a backwards compliment. I got the sense of the whole episode with the mom. She didn't want to let go. Yes, it made her blessing disingenuous. It's okay to be late, Tawanda. You can catch the playback, but we're about to move on in a minute. So ready to fuck. That's what everybody's doing over there. Is she their only daughter? No, she's not their only daughter. Isn't this their daughter too? This one right here, isn't this a sister? She didn't say a lot. Okay. Listen, she didn't say a lot. What else are y'all saying about the episode? Okay. Or to literally trap more so the women to keep them attentive to the spouse and the kids so they won't have a way to leave the spouse. What did this start with, Quasia? The other so they won't leave, or to always feel like they'll ever be bound to the other. Facts. Trusting your child and knowing you raised them with the tools to make their own decisions is the best. If I was Vidal's mom, I would have suggested he slow down. Lacey appears as a decent woman, but her parents, her mom's behavior in them eyes, although she was correct, how she came across was problematic. Yes, but I also feel like in real relationships, you can be problematic, but you're not going to be in the household, so it doesn't matter. That's what people normally do. When parental figures cause issues in relationships, all that does is drive a wedge between them and their child, especially if their child is as gone over a man the way Lacey seems to be gone over this man. At the end of the episode, when his mom was like, the way she stood up and spoke up, mama and daddy liked the way she spoke up for him and to her own people. So I think it let them know that she really loves him. And vice versa. I think you could definitely see the love amongst the two of them. Mom mentioned she struggled to make ends meet by working several jobs, but where was her husband? Whose mom said that? Whose mom said that? I missed that part. No, this is not new. It's not new. Uh, Somebody asked or mentioned about trapping with a baby. Yes. I said that. Yes. Okay, that's what you were talking about. All right, I was trying to like, connect the messaging. Lacey's mom said that. Okay, so Lacey's mom said that she had to scratch and survive good times at one point. It seems like the daddy and her are together though, right? Either way, I'm confused, but I guess because Lacey's mom doesn't want her to struggle. So it's like, I want you to make sure you're in a good space. I want to make sure that you don't have to go through the things that I went through. I mean, I understand that, but I absolutely get y'all saying that she's problematic and something is amiss within her. Absolutely. But a lot of Black women, this is what I noticed. A lot of Black women, not even Black women, a lot of women, period, if they don't make decisions in their lives when they are young women that are about themselves, by the time they get older, they are mad at the fact that their time is running out and they have made the decision to do things that were not really what they wanted to do. I'm just saying. And people start off having to scratch and survive good times. Lacey's mom could have had to work before the daddy got a really good job. Like that happens too a lot. That's why people tell y'all not to be listening to these people online with this bullshit, thinking that people gonna come to y'all with money. Because a lot of the times people gain their wealth together. They get together in their 20s or their 30s, and by the time they get to their 40s and 50s, they've built they've built something together. And then young people are looking at each other like they're supposed to have all amassed the wealth of somebody that's 40 or 50 years old at the age of 25. And that's not everybody. That's not most people's story. I mean, nowadays with the metaverse and new forms of commerce and all of this shit, it's very much becoming a possibility more so than it used to be. But at the same time, y'all, it's just still like, ooh. Listen, if y'all have real tea on Sadaric besides just his mug shot, then send it to me. Okay? Send it to me. But I'm not about to talk about it right now. Because all everybody keeps sending me is, his little arrest thing saying that he got arrested. That's it. But ain't nobody coming to me with no real tea. So until I see real tea, I'm not discussing. He's not even really on the show like that. I just feel like everybody keeps talking about it. Ain't nothing really happening. But anyway, I'm done with family or fiance. So y'all do me a favor. Okay, here, this right here. So many women do be bitter that they chose family and their hubby, like over their own youth and careers, and they resent that decision. Yeah. Pretty much. That's why we keep telling y'all, don't be giving up, what you want and all of that for no. I think you can have both. I think society tries to tell you you can't have both, but I think you can absolutely have both. Okay? Anyway, child. Don't be bitter, love. Don't be bitter about it. Just accept that this is where you are in your life and figure out how to make the best of it in that time. That's all you can really do. Because you never know how much time you have left. So don't be wasting time being mad about shit that you didn't do or decisions that you made. It's the decisions that you make. And I think that if I were a woman like her that had that type of life, and I felt unhappy, if I didn't want to leave my husband, if I couldn't just be happy with my husband, then I would probably live our great life cheating on him. like, girl, don't be unhappy. Figure it the fuck out. But don't be unhappy. I'm just saying. That don't make no sense. But that's what happened when y'all marry people that y'all don't really want. I'm just saying. Y'all be marrying men because you got pregnant by them. Be marrying men because they take care of you. By the time y'all get old, you looking at him, he looking at you, and you looking at the door, and he looking at the floor. Girl, I ain't got time. I'm just saying, mama need to go get her. Mama need to have a life too. Find happiness somewhere, bitch. But don't walk around being bitter. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and get into Ready to Love. Okay, yes, we need to get into it. As y'all can see, we have checked off some boxes. Okay, we have checked off some boxes. Oh, I'm sorry, I was being too honest. I'm sorry. Because I feel like y'all, the real shit about it is when people get to a certain age, ain't nobody leaving nobody because ain't nobody about to do all of that. So nigga just gonna do what they do and then come back home when they come back home. And then everybody be like, child, whatever. Ain't nobody about to go nowhere. I don't even care. Whatever, nigga, bye. Like, tell a bitch I said, hey. I'm just saying, once people get older and they're not about to break apart lives and households and all of that, that's why y'all, all them people that showed up at the funeral with other kids and all of that. Child, y'all just need to be used to women doing that shit too. That's what y'all need to get used to. Y'all need to get used to women also having their little outside spooks too, since men feel like they can just do that shit all willy-nilly. But yes, y'all, let's get to Ready to Love. The men go on dates with the women that are basically in their second or third slots this episode. So Walter and Zadia go and get pedicures together. They talk about how he's into family and tradition, how he grew up with 4 women in the household. Zadia is like, yeah, that's all well and good because you men love to act like y'all love y'all mammies, but then y'all still dog women out. So make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines. And he says that he did go through a whole stage after his wife died because he reverted back to his 19-year-old self. But I think he's going around trying to convince people that he is no longer that person. And I do not know if I am convinced. Okay, moving on from there. So Sabrina and Sean go on a date. And the date was actually very fun and childlike. And I appreciated them not taking themselves too seriously. They have like a little fight with chopsticks. They had a really good time. He asked if she's done with children and he still wants them. He still wants to have kids. But sometimes I'm looking at Sean like, you're 44 years old. I haven't really heard you talk about what you do to make money. You're constantly talking about you wanting to have kids, but it almost comes from the standpoint of you trying to find a woman that you can lock into nurturing and taking care of you. And if you have a baby with a woman, then that kind of locks you in for that. Because something about him wanting to have kids, I don't know, it's just coming off disingenuous. Why do you not have kids already? Why are you telling me as a man that you've been going around dating women who don't want to have children, going with the flow and not having said children, and you don't want to do that anymore, but then you tell Sabrina that maybe she can change your mind about you wanting to have kids because she doesn't want to have kids? I was like, so in essence, you're doing the same thing. You're saying you don't want to waste time, but you're still open to dating a woman who says she doesn't want to have any more children. Like, Sean is confusing to me. And I feel like Sean is trying to show up the way he thinks the women want him to show up. But I think ultimately he might just be a homosexual in disguise. Somebody that is trying to find a woman to take care of him. Okay, like it's coming off that way a little bit. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong, but something is amiss. So then we got Phil and Aisha. Y'all, okay, so I'm gonna be real with y'all. I had to watch this scene a couple of times because my husband was moved by Aisha's tears and I was not. I don't know why I wasn't. I don't know. I guess because it seemed like it came out of nowhere and she was like, like she was crying, like it was loud. And I was just almost like, are we doing this at the restaurant? Like, I don't know. I guess, I don't know. It was just something about it felt acty. And I know I'm probably wrong. I'm sure she was really being vulnerable and honest in that moment emotionally, but I'm sorry, y'all. I was not moved. And I feel terrible because I feel like everybody else was moved and I was not. I was like, were there tears or were they not tears? I don't really know. But either way, I do understand where she's coming from. She and Phil have been talking a lot and they discussed her not wanting to have children. And it's really because she had very difficult pregnancies. She almost lost both of the children that she has now. And she's had a lot of miscarriages. She doesn't hold babies well. And she does not want to go through that process and disappoint the person that she's in a relationship with. And that is the reason why she says that she doesn't want to have them. And she burst into tears, and Phil comforts her. And I was just kind of like, I'm going to hell, y'all. I don't know, y'all. I wasn't moved either. She was very much given to the cameras. Good point to make. But she was serving that. My mom carries bad too, but I don't care either, Bondi. Oh, wow. I like Aisha. It was interesting because her response to Phil was different from Sean. It was. I was like, where did this come from? Like, other people have said that. Okay, so other people have said that too. Okay, so it wasn't just me. Because I felt like I'm being, I don't know, like maybe I'm being emotionally unavailable in some way, which is so weird. But I was just like, I'm not. And my husband was like, babe, she's shaking. I'm like, is she? Okay. I'll let you tell it because I can't tell. I can't see it. So y'all, let's go ahead and move on from there. But Phil did comfort her, and it made Phil look like a good guy. But I'm also noticing how many people Phil is being a good guy too. Yes. When she had that car accident, he ran to go and see about her. Now they're talking all the time. Their relationship could very much be genuine, but Phil is starting to come off to me as the sneaky player nigga we didn't know he was. Okay, so I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I don't want it to be fake, but this is in this moment right now, that's what's coming up through the spirit. Okay, the spirit lines are telling me that it may not be all that, it's cracked up to be, but I'm going to wait on it. Okay. I'm going to wait on it, and I'm open to being wrong. Okay. So y'all, let's move on. Camille goes on what I like to call a forced ass production date with Naeem. And I don't like her energy. I don't like that she makes everybody feel like I don't really have time for you because I've already set my sights on Cornelius and all 100 of his beautiful teeth. I I was really annoyed with her. She didn't like that he fed her oysters. But they do talk regularly. She asked if he wants kids. He says with the right woman he does. She says how many kids. He says let's start with one. She asked about his role in her son's life if they were to be in a relationship together, and he says I wouldn't want to try and play a father role, but I also wouldn't want to be looked at as just a hey Mr. whatever. And she was like, oh, you're gonna be a Mr. Naeem or a Mr. Nye or whatever. And I'm just like, that's because she's not interested in you. So this conversation is stupid. And then her asking about how much money he makes. And he was like, I'm not going to answer that. And honestly, y'all, I was like, you're not? You're not? Why is everybody so offended when you ask how much money they make? Am I the only person that feels like if you make enough money, that shouldn't be a big deal? Like, I'm not saying whip it out like it's a fucking, credit card every time somebody says something. But a reasonable, I make enough, I make enough to live nice, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm okay, I'm doing all right, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, y'all, if I'm dating someone and I'm thinking about marrying you, how much money you make affects me. So if I'm going to ask you about if you want kids and if you want marriage and if I'm going to get you to get STD tested, then I should be able to ask you how much money you make without you feeling like I'm overstepping boundaries. And honestly, if a man were to ask me that, I wouldn't have a problem answering either, because I would like to know what are our incomes going to add up to create. Everybody's always acting like, oh, if a woman wants to know how much money I make, that's a red flag. Is it, Naeem? Is it? Like, this idea that women are not supposed to expect men to make money is fucking ridiculous. Like, what are we talking about here? It doesn't need to be the end all be all. It doesn't need to be a period or a button on the topic. Like, no. But at the end of the day, I should be able to surmise what you're doing over there if I'm actually considering being in a serious relationship with you. But Camille, why are you asking him that? You aren't interested in him. Ask Cornelius how much money he makes. Let us see that conversation. But I still feel like Naeem was saying that it was a red flag for a woman to even ask. And I don't know what the problem is with asking. But I don't like Camille's energy at all. Like he said, she's crazy and he needs someone that's a little bit more Namyo Rengekyo. Okay? So y'all, we see Frank, Dante, Mumine, and Sabrina go on a double date. And they did, a little switching where Dante and Mumine seemed to be feeling each other. They were being close and, kind of talking, but then they swap and Frank and Mumine talk. And we see Sabrina and Dante talk. So Frank and Mumine talk damn near daily at this point. So now in person, they are feeling each other. They're talking about family and values. And it seems like Frank and Aisha may be fizzling out a bit. I'm not sure yet, but that's what it seems like. And Mumine still doesn't want to have sex before marriage. Frank wants to know what the sex is like before he marries her. That's just what it is. He says that he is a hypersexual man, which is a negative thing, I thought. I don't know if he's explaining himself the correct way, but either way, I think I understand what he means. Sex is important. He feels like his feelings could get to a point, however, where he would be willing to go along that journey with her if he felt like that was going to end up being the end all be all, which is marriage with Mumine, then I will, abstain from sex with Mumine. But I just kind of feel like there's nothing wrong with not making sex the main focus of a relationship, but that doesn't mean you can't test it out. I'm just saying, y'all, like, okay, for instance, so me and Lyric had known each other for like a few years before we started dating, right? Most people who know our story know that we were dating for years. I mean, we knew each other for years before we started dating. And I had decided that I was going to wait 3 months to have sex with him because that's the amount of time it takes to, get STD tested and just make sure everything's all well and good since the last whoever I was fucking with. And before I was with Lyric, I was single. So I was fucking who I wanted to fuck on. Protection, of course, but you just never know. So, and I was in a relationship like maybe a year, 6 months prior. And then I was single for like 6 months and then me and Lyric got together. And so I wanted to do the 3-month thing. Well, about a month in, things got a little out of hand one day and we ended up doing it anyway. But I knew him, so it was okay. You know what I'm saying? But we did it. And then after that, we was like, okay, we did it. We liked it. Now let's go back to waiting. And then we actually did wait the additional month and a half to kind of finish out the 3 months. And then, commence to all of the having of the sex. And we didn't wait until marriage, but it also wasn't the biggest thing in our relationship either. Like our connection was us enjoying each other, our friendship, which is why our relationship is still good at the end of the day. Like today, it's still good because that's my friend first. And then all the other stuff comes secondary. But the idea that you can't have sex and not make that like the epicenter of the relationship is just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So it's just something about Mumine and Cornelius that works on my nerves because I feel like it's bullshit. You're coming on a television dating show where I feel like everybody's probably fucking each other so that y'all can act like y'all are saved and sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost Christians. Then go find somebody on a Christian dating site or take your ass to church. But get off a dating show on a reality show talking this bullshit to us. Maybe not in Mumine. Actually, yeah, in Mumine. I feel like Mumine and Cornelius both lead with sexual energy and then tell people we're not gonna fuck. Like what? Everybody's grown. Anyway, y'all, let's move on from there. So Sean and Tecia go on a date and they discuss her wanting to build a family and a home. And this is what he's been talking about the entire time. I also did not like the way they said she had a Jill Scott vibe going on. I said, where? I didn't know who the fuck they were talking about until I rewound it and heard they said Tecia. I said, oh, let me get this straight. So because she is a on the, the bigger side, because she's a plus size woman, she's automatically Jill Scott. Bitch, she is not Jill Scott. What are we talking about here? Being bigger, okay, being big does not make you a Jill Scott, bitch. It does not, okay? First of all, Jill Scott would never like sink her face down with her hair in front of her face like that. Like, there is a level of insecurity in in Ticia's physicality, like the way she carries herself. I don't know whether it's her trying to pretend to be coy. I don't know what the fuck that is, but that's not what Jill gives. Jill gives very much Regine Hunter. And when I say that, tits up, tits up. Ticia is very beautiful. Ticia is very beautiful, but there is something about her vibe that feels like she's not as confident as a Jill Scott. Courtney gives more Jill. Yes, that makes more sense. People, I don't know what people, in their minds, like, but Jill is very much a man eater. Like, what are you talking about? Jill Scott is a fucking man eater, unless there's something that I'm not seeing here. Okay. But I don't feel like Ticia comes off as a type of person that wills her confidence and her sexuality in the way that I have seen Jill throw that shit out there, wrap it up, and then bring it right back and tell you, how dare you speak of my sex? You know what I'm saying? She's that type of woman. Okay. And I don't see that about Ticia at all. So I don't know what the men are talking about, but whatever. Either way, she brings up this 10-year age difference between she and Sean, talking about, you okay with a young thing coming your way? He's like, as long as you okay with something swinging your way. I was like, not swinging. Jill is voluptuous and owns it. Thank you, Just Ivy. Yes, she is. That's why I said the Regine Hunter effect. Those tits are always up and out. Do you hear me? Up and out. The microphone tells it all. Yes, ma'am. Because that's what's in my mind, right? When she gave that microphone the business, okay? When she gave like get that microphone a bit, I like, bitch, what? Okay, wait a minute now. Okay, wait a minute now. This is gonna be a manual, just like Corinne Steffens' video with Mr. Marcus is. Anyway, it's a user's manual on how to suck dick. Anyway, so Courtney and Cornelius go on a date. She's feeling all on him. He's smiling and grinning like a Cheshire cat, but talking about wanting to save it for marriage. She says that, I don't know if you've ever dealt with a boss, but see, I'm a boss and I get what I want. And see, here's the thing that's confusing to me about Cornelius. Cornelius is okay with the extra shit that Camille brings because Camille is doing the I'm saving it for marriage thing, right? But Courtney's aggression is just like they have the same type of aggression to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, one is trying to own you and the other one is trying to bone you. And you're deciding that the one that wants to bone you is just not your type because you would, right, he would rather be sneaky about it. That's what I see about his smile. And it almost feels like you were letting her fill up all on your thigh muscle, all next to your meat, where your thigh touch your meat. That's where it's supposed to be at. So I was like, you was letting her do all that, and you gonna sit up here and tell me that you're really not trying to be sexual with anybody, and that's a deal breaker because you're a Christian through and through. I was like, Cornelius, can you please stop adding the extra S to everything in the confessionals? Because the truth of the matter is, I low-key feel like you want Camille because you and Camille would never work out. And you don't want Courtney is because Courtney is going to ask you to pop that dick out and you may not want to give that dick to her. I'm not going to say why you may not want to give that dick to her, but I am going to say that being with a woman that is willing to not have sex might be a saving grace for a man that's not really trying to have sex with that woman. So I'm going to just go ahead and let that go and push through from there. So the men meet up and talk, and Walter likes Zadia. Phil likes Aisha, but Shiloh is still at the top for him. Sean likes Ticia, just as Phil likes Ticia, I believe. I think he was liking her too, but he didn't mention her. Dante is connecting with Sabrina, and that makes Walter feel uncomfortable because he's really been connecting with her. Same thing when Walter said he was connecting with Zadia, and Naeem was uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just see them moving glasses, and there's a lot going on. Cornelius did not like the fact that Courtney came on to him. He doesn't see any potential there. Okay. I notice a lot of the times that men don't, even if they're straight, men don't like women that are aggressive. Y'all like to feel like y'all are catching a bitch in some type of trap, getting the pussy. But when a woman wants to give it to you and is telling you, nigga, I'll wrap you up in this pussy, y'all get upset. Y'all don't want that. Y'all want girls that's gonna run and try to play hide and seek with their pussy. And I think that that's cute and everything, but we're tired of that. At some point, we're grown. We know what it is. Either we doing this or we're not doing this. To me, a lot of y'all want children because y'all are not comfortable with women being in control of their sexuality, being in control of the moment, because it makes you feel insecure. Because it's just like, if this woman is in control of her sexuality and knows what she wants to do, it may be harder for me to please her. So I would rather go and fuck with someone who I feel like doesn't have a lot of experience, because I don't have to necessarily, be as good. Is it just me? I don't know. Team Phil, who with me? Oh yeah, y'all Team Phil? I want y'all to calm down. Y'all don't know that man like that. So anyway, y'all, Frank and Walter put Courtney in their bottom because they haven't made a connection with her. Camille is at the bottom for Sean, Dante, and Naeem. And then we see Walter and Courtney go on a date. She expresses having walls up. And I feel like she has walls up, but I also feel like y'all are intimidated by the fact that you probably feel like you can't control her. Like, Camille is going to be at home by herself calling Cornelius' phone 500 times, and he'll be out doing whatever he's doing, but he'll know that her crazy ass is at home blowing his phone up, and that will comfort him. Courtney, on the other hand, if you're not answering her phone calls, will move on to the next, and you don't like that feeling. So I think that they sent Courtney home because Courtney is not easily controlled in the same way that they probably feel like Camille or some of the other women are. And yes, production is not editing the scenes clearly enough. I never understand what the fuck is actually happening in conversations. I never really feel like I know about all of the connections. It's always a surprise of some sort. Okay, like they really are chopping this shit up a little bit too severely. I almost wish that they would consider maybe doing a 2-hour show, like Married at First Sight. I don't always love that, but if you had enough good content, 2 hours would be like an easy thing if we were getting the full story. Because I feel like so often we're getting bits and pieces and nobody knows what the fuck is going on. Okay, but either way, Camille and Dante meet up, and she's being very short because she knows what's going on. Okay, she knows why she's there. Camille says that she knows who she wants, she knows what she wants, and that's Cornelius. We know that. So Walter says that Courtney has been friend zoning folks. And I don't know if that's the case. I just feel like she probably is one of those women that doesn't waste her time with people that she isn't really that into. But I still feel like she was hella corny when she told your boy he could either, sit on a bench or win this championship. And I'm just kind of like, oh my God, girl, you and Corey need to go on some dates together. Cause I feel like you and Corey could probably break each other down. Cause y'all are the same as far as I'm concerned. Like, you're a woman, so you have to be more honest and more careful about yourself than a man. But y'all have the same energy and like animalistic predatory type of energy when it comes to dating. And I don't mean that in necessarily negative way. Okay. But I do think that a man like Corey could possibly be extremely tamed by a woman like Courtney, because Courtney is going to give all of that energy back to him. Cornball for life. Okay. Camille thought she was being sent home, and so she was being an asshole. So I think Dante said, Camille, you are not ready to leave yet, because he wanted to scare her because she was being an asshole. They want to send Camille home, but the producers probably wanted them to keep her because she acts a fool. She acts an ass. I think that's what it is, y'all. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I hate the way production is leaving out vital information. Yeah, that's why I like Houston season, because they were all in one place. Exactly. The men was afraid Courtney was going to do a them on them, masculine energy. Yes. Y'all, I have been like that with men, and they really did not like that. They do not like when you handle them with that same energy of, are we fucking or not? They don't like it. It makes them feel used. I'm like, welcome to the club, ho. Oh, you don't like this equality, huh? Put your dick out. You don't like it, huh? Let me see it. Okay, let me see it. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm grateful I found Lyric because Lyric enjoys my prowess of it all. Because sometimes I want to be chased. I like being chased, but there are other times where I'll give you a head start. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyway, y'all. Yeah, the season's a little dry. The season's a little dry. It would have been better if they would have had everybody in one place. I think they should think about doing that going forward so that something can actually be like, like why can't we have like they have all these white shows that have people all in one place and bring them on an island and all of that type of Love Island, all of those shows. Like we need black shows like that. And we do mean black shows like that, not white shows with a few black people. Okay, because that's what y'all normally like to do. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Like I said, for my members and my Patreons, I'm going to come to y'all probably around 5 o'clock to watch the first episode of the game together for a little watch along. So y'all look for that link. I'll be sending it soon. But child, that's all I got to say. Camille is very sexy beauty, ain't everything. She's cray. It's not. It's really not. It's really, really not. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope y'all have a good Sunday. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.